So yesterday we looked at how to take an exponential equation and rewrite it using a common base. And if we had that common base, then we could just set the exponents equal to each other and we could solve the equation. Okay, but what the question now is, what happens if you cannot rewrite the equation using a common base? So when I look at this exponential equation, I've got a 17 and a 4 as my bases, and there's nothing that they have in common that I could express that with. So when you can't find a common base, what you do is you take the log of both sides. So I'm going to take the log of 17 and I take the log of 4 to the x. Okay, we're going to apply our log properties here. Since we have an exponent up here, we bring that exponent out front as a multiplier. So it's going to be x times the log of 4. And then keep in mind we're solving for x. We're trying to get x by itself. So I'm going to divide by that log 4. Divide both sides by log 4. And that's your value for x. And you can do this on your calculator. You punch in 17 log, it's going to give you a decimal. Divided by, and then punch in 4 log, you're going to see another decimal. You have to hit equals after that to get your final answer. Okay, there are a few calculators that we saw where you had to put the log in first, followed by the value, but it's going to depend on what your calculator is. Okay, so when I go to solve letter A here, I've got the number 5 and 12. They do not have a common base, so I'm going to go ahead and take the log of both sides. Okay, I'm going to apply my property here. I've got an exponent here, so I'm going to bring it out front as a multiplier and say that's x times log 5. Okay, to get x by itself, I'm going to undo this multiplication. So I'm going to divide by the log of 5. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do the same thing to the other. Okay, so I'm going to have x equals whatever the log of 12 divided by the log of 5. And that's something you can do on your calculator. Let me grab my phone here real quick. All right, so I'm going to punch in 12, hit the log key, and divided by 5, hit the log key, and hit equals. And this is approximately 1.544. We're going to round to the nearest thousand. Okay, if I want to look at example B here, I've got the number 7 and I've got the number 54. I can't express those with a common base, so I'm going to go ahead and take the log of both sides. Okay, I've got this exponent here that comes out front as a multiplier, so it's 3x times the log of 7. Okay, we want to divide. We're going to undo this multiplication by dividing by the log of 7. So I'm going to get 3x equals, I'm going to do that log 54 and I'm going to divide it by a log of 7, and I get a value of 2.050. Now, we're not quite done yet with this example because we don't have x by itself yet. So there's one more step here. To get x by itself, you would divide by 3. So I'm going to divide by 3. And I get 0.683. Okay, so in terms of solving an exponential equation, yesterday we saw how if we can write it as a common base, that's what we want to do. But when we can't write it with a common base, we take the log of both sides. Okay, on your worksheet, on your packet of worksheets, you're going to be doing numbers, I believe it's 16 through 20. Okay, it's like the last 5 questions or so in the packet, so you're skipping the middle part and you're going on to the end. Okay, that's how to solve that type of equation.